I recently bought this bike for the bargain price of £150. Admittedly, it is 35 years old and it did only cost £300 when it was new. But I am very happy because it's a piece of history. Plus, as I found out very soon after purchase, it still rides beautifully.
This is absolutely brilliant.
The fact is, though, I don't need another bike for riding off-road. I mean, as good as this is, it is not better than a modern gravel bike, nor is it as capable as a modern mountain bike. But that doesn't matter, because there was never any doubt in my mind as to what this bike was destined for. Sexy Instagram super commuter. Yeah, it's transformation time. Yes, there was a time a few years ago when Instagram knew that I was a sucker for a vintage bike metamorphosed into a town bike deluxe. There are so many different types, from flat bar road bikes to old school mountain bikes, but it was the latter that really spoke to me. And when you look, it's old GTs that make some of the very best. It was partly for that reason, I mean, almost entirely that reason actually, that I got so excited when I found mine in Cheltenham's charity bike shop in the west of England. It is a 1990 GT Timberline complete with the original Shimano group set. What I'm going to do now, though, is to try and convert it into hopefully an Instagram-worthy town bike. Now, before we start filming, I have a confession to make. I need to clean my Timberline. Having survived 36 years unscathed, 4 weeks in the GCN bike rack has not exactly been kind. But a quick clean should sort most of it out. And we've just taken delivery of some super cool G-Technic bike cleaning and protection products. They're a new partner here on GCN. So I've got degreaser, probably need deruster actually, and then I've got some bike wash here as well. So they should make light work of this and also protect the bike, which it definitely needs now. Okay, here we go then, scrubbed up pretty nicely. Now, one of the things that I love about this bike is that it doesn't actually need rescuing because it all works really well, or at least it did until I left it in a bike rack. It's slightly upsetting that the rust is still present. I actually think that's going to ride off with use, so I'm not properly worried. But yeah, nothing needs changing on this bike. So whereas you see on a lot of sexy Instagram bikes, the gears have been modernised, this doesn't actually need it. So I'm leaving it as it is. The triple's going to come in handy because I live in a hilly city. And do you know what? I feel like I should pay homage to this ancient componentry that still works flawlessly. Particularly these bio-paste chain rings, which are the stuff of legend. Legendarily bad, but legendary nevertheless. The thing that is in the back of my mind is they're a bit ugly. So get involved in the comment section down below. If you think, after watching this, that I need to swap the chain set and the chain ring out so that it looks like a sexy Instagram bike, then do let me know. But at the minute, that's why it's staying put. You might be wondering then, well, what am I going to do if nothing needs changing? I'm starting up here with the handlebars. So I bought my lovely purple flat handlebars and bar ends for my epic ride. They were amazing, but it's not the look that I'm going for my sexy Instagram super commuter. So I have bought these instead, and I'm very happy with my purchase. Now, when buying bits for bikes, even after all these years, I still regularly get things wrong. And one thing that I was mindful of this time is the handlebar clamp diameter. So fingers crossed I've got it right, but basically on older bikes, they tend to be much narrower, so 25.4 mil. So fingers crossed. Yes! Result. Got it right. Those are nice. These are very much like a pair of handlebars that I bought in 1998. A pair of X-Lite cross-country riser bars. So there we go. I had to punch a hole in my grips to get my bar ends on, and as a lot of people pointed out in the comment section, that without a bar end plug, it's quite a dangerous combo. So I'll put these on for now, but I might see if there's something knocking around the workshop that I can stick on instead. Freehub sound check. Considering that doesn't have ceramic bearings and is 36 years old, that's pretty blooming good, isn't it? I am honestly, I'm so impressed with how this bike has lasted. I don't know how much it's been used over the years. It might have been sat in someone's garage, but it is a pleasure working on this stuff. And I know I'm getting old, having remembered this first time round. But it's really cool. There's just something pleasingly chunky and mechanical about it. Yeah. Nice bike. Next up, you might be wondering why I haven't done a better job of cleaning my tyres, and that is because I have no intention of keeping them on the bike. Even though they are new and they're absolutely perfect, you gotta have tan wool tyres on your sexy Instagram bike, haven't you? So I have bought these for the princely sum of, I think it was 25 quid for a pair. They're called Baldies, even though quite clearly they're not bald. But anyway, this genuinely is the most exciting bit of the build for me. Nothing transforms a bike like a pair of tan wool tyres. So let's do it. I know I should have reflectors, but is it sexy? No. Will it get likes on Instagram? No. This is one of my favourite park tools, the pick. Basically, there's still quite a lot of my last bike ride still in the cassette. So I'm just gonna dig it out in an incredibly satisfying job. Ah, how cool is that? It's great quality tyre, that. I'm hoping that bump might come out when I pump the tyre up a bit more. But maybe that's just what you get for spending 12 quid on a tyre. Yeah, no, it's fine. It'll pump out. Can we just take a moment? Change your tyres for some tan walls and instantly it looks like you can put it on Instagram. I'm not finishing here though, because, well, clearly I've only changed two things, but actually this is a super commuter, remember? So I need to make it slightly more utilitarian. And so the next step is, you're not gonna believe this, mudguards. I'm putting mudguards on. Here we go then. Now, much like my slightly shonky tyres, these mudguards were also a purchase made following a Google search, and they were the cheapest ones I could find. So mudguards seem to be something you can spend a huge amount of money on. You get like everything from these incredible Japanese handmade things. I think it's a company called Honjo. These ones are a sixth of the price. So I'm expecting that this next step is not going to be easy. I have, in readiness, got hold of this little lot from our Ace GCN mechanics. So it feels a little bit like cheating asking those boys. But anyway, I'm ready for a headache, but let's do this. Looks good though, doesn't it? Like, genuinely, that looks mega. So it's always nice doing things by the book, and then sometimes you just got to bodge stuff. So currently this is a massive bodge. So yes, I'll come back to that later. Yeah. There were no instructions with my bargain basement mudguards, so I'm winging it. This, I'm assuming, is to attach the mudguard to my seat stay bridge, that's what it's called. But it's also going to need some bending. So I'm going to try and bend it, see what happens. I think the bending's got to come before attaching it, because otherwise it won't clear my chainstays. So, ready? This is so budget. This is brilliant. Probably the most satisfying job I've ever done on any bicycle ever. Just amazing. I'm so nervous about this. Oh, God. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Let's tighten it up. Right then, 72 hours later, it's time for the front mudguard. And as if life wasn't complicated enough, I'm adding another complication in. No self-respecting, sexy Instagram bike would be seen without a pizza rack. Yes. So, I mean, this is like industrial strength. It weighs an absolute ton. But I'm basically going to have to fit this at the same time as my mudguards. This is going to be hellish. But hopefully, once fitted, then it'll all be fine. Wish me luck. Surely this is not possible for one person to do. Okay. I'm steadily losing the will to live, but Mainly because I can't work out how to fit my pizza rack to a bike with fender rack mounts, mudguard bosses. So this is what I'm currently stressing about. And that is definitely not right. I have got it to a point where it's actually on, but it won't actually work, basically. It's f***ing close, but it won't actually. That would technically work there, but then I've got this weird bit at the bottom. I am doing more Googling of how to fit a rack onto a bike. Sometimes working on bikes is an absolute pleasure. Other times, it makes me lose the will to live. Today might have been one of those times. It's just like doing Meccano for a day. I've lost count of the number of times I've dropped Allen keys and bolts and nuts. This could be the worst GCN video of all time. But I'll go and show you the bike now. Here we go then. What do you think? Is it cool? I mean, on the one hand, it should tick all the boxes. On the other hand, I can't quite shake off the gnawing, underlying sensation that I might have just made a Grandad's bike. Yeah, get involved in the comments section. I've asked around here at GCN Megabase, broadly positive, and people here would call a spade a spade. The acid test, obviously, for a sexy Instagram bike is Instagram. So I've dusted off my account, punted it on there. Variety of comments. We've got, oof, bike porn. Thank you, Tom Beer. You're my new best mate. Homer Stu Benson. I like the concept. Needs a different bar stem combo. M-Trix needs a cooler period correct stem. I mean, it is period correct, but cooler. I think you might be right. Man of Steely. The only issue is the massive rise on the stem. Okay, all right. I think I need to change the stem out. Sam Honeywood needs to be single speed or one by. So yeah, as I was saying earlier, I think that chain set might need to go at some point. But the crux of it, I think, Tim Higgs, you've hit a nail on the head here. I think it can be either, depending on how old and how hipster looking the rider is. Now that has struck a chord with me, particularly painful one at that. So I'm going to share something of a personal nature with you. A few years ago, I was trying to buy a pair of glasses, like not riding glasses, glasses to see with. And I found a pair that I really loved, and I was trying them on. So I sent a picture of me wearing said glasses to my wife. Now, picture the sort of like large, sort of thin metal frame, very cool. She replied with no. And I said, no, but look, I really like them. And she said, no, you can't buy them. And I was like, but they're cool. No, do not buy them. I was like, but seriously, like the cool kids are wearing these glasses. She replied with, that's the point. You are not young enough to be able to wear those glasses. You look so old that you are like the person that wore them originally first time around. And that has stuck with me. I'll let you be the judge. Here's the photo that I sent her. She was probably more rude about it than I was. But anyway, that's what I'm worried about of me riding this bike. Do I look like a Grandad, basically? Now, partly it's the paint job. I've moaned about this already, but this paint job is basically like the floor of an Italian service station bathroom. It's the only GT from the early 90s with a crap paint job. But anyway, that aside, I'm actually really pleased with how this bike has turned out. I'm really pleased that all the hard work, faffing around with washers and bolts, has paid off. And do you know what? It rides like an absolute dream. So, yeah, I'm going to be using this one, definitely. But let me know in the comment section what you think. And also what you think we might change. Because the thing about a bike like this is I think it's never finished. Get involved in the comment section. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it.